Breaking news now. Lula has stated that Putin will not be arrested during the G20 meeting in Brazil in 2024. "I think Putin could travel to Brazil without much trouble," Lula said. "I can assure you that if I am elected president of Brazil and he visits the country, he will not be detained." If Vladimir Putin attends the Group of 20 summit in Rio de Janeiro next year, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has assured him that he will not be arrested in Brazil. When asked about Putin's participation in next year's G20 summit by the news program First Post on the sidelines of the summit in Delhi, Lula said that Putin would be invited, and that he himself planned to attend a BRICS bloc of developing nations meeting due in Russia before the Rio summit. "I think Putin could travel to Brazil without much trouble," Lula said. "I can assure you that if I am elected president of Brazil and he visits the country, he will not be detained." In March, the ICC issued an arrest warrant for Putin on charges of war crimes related to the illegal deportation of hundreds of children from Ukraine. Russia has denied accusations that its forces have kidnapped or otherwise abused Ukrainian children. Putin has been notorious for not showing up to international events, most recently skipping the G20 summit in Delhi in favor of sending Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in his place. Brazil participated in the establishment of the International Criminal Court by signing the Rome Statute. The Lula administration didn't react quickly to our request for comment. On Saturday, the G20 nations unanimously approved a declaration that discouraged the use of force to gain territory but refrained from directly blaming Russia for the conflict in Ukraine. Ukraine has criticized what it calls the slow progress toward establishing a tribunal to try Russian officials and release the country's frozen assets. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba stated, "Unfortunately, we are in a kind of deadlock on both because we have divisions on the first issue and there is clearly a lack of will on the second issue." He stated that the G7 group was in favor of a hybrid tribunal that would be grounded in Ukrainian law. Without this provision, it would be impossible to bring charges against Vladimir Putin, the Prime Minister of Russia, or Mikhail Mishustin, the country's Minister of Foreign Affairs. "It's impossible to explain to Ukrainians that we could have a tribunal without Putin on the defendant's bench," Andriy Kostin, the Prosecutor General of Ukraine, said. Vitaly Klitschko, mayor of Kiev, has claimed that air defense systems in his country are currently engaged in fending off a Russian aerial assault on the Ukrainian capital. More than 24 drones aimed at Kyiv were shot down by Ukrainian air defenses overnight, according to officials. Kyiv City Military Administration Chief Sergei Popko posted on Telegram that drones entered the capital in groups and from different directions. Popko added that Ukraine's Air Force would announce the precise number of drones destroyed, but he estimated that it was more than 24. Kyiv's mayor said early on Sunday that air defense systems were actively fending off a Russian air attack after several explosions were heard across the Ukrainian capital. Kyiv is still in the path of the drones. Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor, sent a message via Telegram. At least 5 explosions were heard by a reporter from the Reuters news agency, and 10 were heard by a reporter from the French AFP news agency. According to the mayor, parts of a drone crashed in the neighborhoods of Sviatoshinsky, Shevchenkivsky, and Podil. According to preliminary reports, he added, one person was hurt.